Hey guys, BJ, very basic Bible. Gonna do us a Bible liturgy. There we go. I hope this microphone is working. There we go. We're gonna hit some share screen. Now, before we hit share screen, remember, we're not looking at the liturgy in order to like promote the liturgy. We're not looking at the liturgy to promote the church or the denomination or the part of Christianity which the liturgy comes from. Different parts of Christianity have different liturgies. Um, we're not trying to look at the theology of that denomination. We're not trying to promote liturgical stuff. No, no, no. The liturgy for us, for me, for very basic Bible, it's just a tool for Bible study. That's all I'm using. It's almost like somebody made, forks and spoons to go and eat food, and they eat food. And different people use different types of forks and different types of spoons. I come along as a gardener and I'm like, let's learn how to do gardening with forks and spoons. Oh, you're promoting eating. No, no, no. Oh, you're promoting that specific kind of fork and spoon. No, no, no. I'm just using the fork and the spoon as a tool for garden. It's like, that's so weird. I know. I know. I know. I could go and pick out four or five random passages, but it's just so much easier to use a liturgy. Share screen. Okay. Up here, I think it's these three lines in the top right. I think so. Open application menu. What's here? Bookmarks right there. New private window, new window. I don't want any of that. History. Okay. Download. See all this stuff. Forget about just bookmarks right there. Bible Project, Fantasy Star Manual, the video game, Fantasy Star 2. Okay, lectionaries, lectionary. Look at all that. Because since we're not promoting the election, we're not, we're promoting the lectionary just as much as if I was like, oh no, my daughter is dying. I need to get her to the hospital. I ran outside and there was a bike. There was a really slow van and there was a Corvette. I jump in the Corvette, take my dog. Oh, you're promoting the Corvette. No, no. I'm using the best tool possible to get her to the hospital as soon as possible. And, well, you want us to use a lectionary media. Did I ever say that? No. Do I want you, if you gotta go shopping and you have the cart you carry or the basket you push or you take bags and you store and I'm gonna use bags. Oh, you want us to use bags? No, you can use whatever you want. I'm sorry. Look, I promise. You can use a basket. You can look. Don't use the late. Okay. All right. We're gonna go. We're gonna hit up a what is this? CCCB. I think there's only two scriptures in that. All right. November 28th. Okay. Isaiah 4, 2 through 6. Texts of the day. Oh, look, there's also Psalm 122, Matthew 8, 5 through 11, and 13. My eggnog. Elixir of life. Okay. First reading and then texts of the day. I wonder. First reading, Psalm, Gospel. Okay, so there's three texts in this. See, I don't even know how this liturgy works. I mean, I don't know. We're just going to use these three. There might be more. I don't think so. All right. The vision that Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Isaiah is a prophet, correct? He's a prophet. So he's going to see visions and dreams. He's going to get words from the Lord. Some people who are not prophets seem to get visions, but then they are called prophets. But people like Isaiah, who has his own book, and people around him called him a prophet. Some people get visions and stuff, and nobody calls him prophet. But he's like his own book, tons of prophecy from his mouth. That's the thing he's known for, being a prophet. He's going to get a vision. Okay. The vision. So the vision, the only well, there's lots of visions in the book of Isaiah. Anyway, okay, here we go. On that day, that what day? That's a sign for like a super duper important day, like a pivotal point, you know. Uh Moses went out of Egypt with the Israelites on that day. God attacked Jerusalem and took them all into exile on that day. And in fact, there were three times when Nebuchadnezzar attacked and took people into exile. So there were three that days. Maybe there was the last one was that day. Jesus died on that day. So that day, a pivotal point where God does something crazy. Okay, on that day, the branch of the Lord shall be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the land shall be the pride and glory of the survivors of Israel. Whoever is left in Zion and remains in Jerusalem will be called holy. Everyone who has been recorded for life in Jerusalem, once the Lord has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and cleansed the bloodstains of Jerusalem from its midst by a spirit of judgment and by a spirit of burning. He's going to turn the people who are left. He's going to make them glorious and beautiful. The fruit of the land shall be the pride and glory of the survivors, the people that are left, the remnant. Whoever's left in Zion, the remnant, will be called holy. Everyone who's been recorded for life in Jerusalem, the remnant, the survivors, on that day, the branch of the Lord. The branch of the Lord, okay, is generally the Messiah in other places. Now, remember, the liturgy is putting very basic Bible to work. So we don't look a lot of stuff up. I just kind of go by what I know. I'm not going to look a ton of stuff up. So I'm telling you all this. All right. Lord has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and cleansed the bloodstains of Jerusalem from its midst by how does he clean the filth away? How do we get down to either just the remnant or we get down to just the remnant and they are cleaned? How do we do that? A spirit of judgment, spirit of burning. I'm not sure the difference. I think judgment is a righteous judgment. So y'all are guilty and you get rid of them. I think burning is like how you get rid of them. You judge them to be gotten rid of, and then you get rid of them. I think. Then the Lord will create over the whole site of Mount Zion. Mount Zion, Jerusalem, is built on Mount Zion. Mount Zion's a literal mountain. Like you got Mount St. Helens, you got Mount Everest, you got Mount, Zion. I mean, so Jesus went up the Mount of Olives and would chill there sometimes, and other mountains to pray. Mount of Zion. Whoever's left in Zion, whoever's left in Zion remains in Jerusalem. Parallelism. Then the Lord would create over the whole site of the Mount Zion. So over all the people that are there, it's super holy, right? All the people that are there are holy. God's gotten rid of all the bad stuff. He's going to create over the whole site, over its places of assembly, a cloud by day and smoke and the shining of a flaming fire by night. That right there, straight out of the Exodus. They're going through the wilderness. They've done all they've done the 10 crazy things. They did the Passover. Moses and the Israelites left. Pharaoh chases them. It says that God guided them by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. God was there in the cloud and in the fire. So God's going to be with them. After God cleans, so Jerusalem is evidently is full of filth and stuff because God's going to clean the filth. But once God has cleaned it all, once only the remnant is left, the very holy, God will be over it. Will create over the whole site a cloud by day and shining flaming fire by night. God will release his protection, release his angel, because he does say in Exodus, hey, I can't go with you. But don't worry, my angel's going to go with you. Indeed, over all the glory, there will be a canopy. It will serve as a pavilion, a shade by day from the heat, and a refuge and a shelter from the storm and rain. I guess by night, maybe not. That also is from the Exodus, because they're in the desert. They didn't have shelter. So motifs to the Exodus right here. Up here too, the fruit of the land. Whenever they are marching through the desert, and then God says, hey, that land is going to be filled with milk and honey and awesome fruit. The people some people go and spy out the land, they come back and they say, indeed, there is good fruit there. Yeah, it's very good. So, all right. So after everything goes downwards, blood stains, it's filth, and you got to judge and you got to burn. After it goes bad, there's judging and burning. There's only, what is it? Uh, the survivors of Israel, the holy ones, everyone who has been recorded for life, after only the remnant is left. God's going to put a canopy and a protection over them. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's go and see what Psalm 22 says. Read more. Let's go open link in new tab. Here we go. I don't know what the R is. Reframe. I don't know. Is that all? Psalm 22 only that long? Maybe there's, I don't know. We'll see. I was glad when they said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet are standing within your gates, O Jerusalem. Okay. So it's talking about Jerusalem. The last one is talking about Jerusalem. Jerusalem, built as a city that is bound firmly together. To it, the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord. So their feet are standing within your gates, Jerusalem. The tribes are going to go up. The tribes of the Lord are going to go up to Jerusalem. A city is burned firmly together. So it's all about Jerusalem, right? As was decreed for Israel, for the nation of Israel, the tribes of the Lord, as was decreed for the tribes of the Lord, or okay, as was decreed for Israel, to give thanks to the name of the Lord. Ooh, for there in Jerusalem. So it's decreed for the people of the Lord to go up, that their feet will be standing within the gates of Jerusalem. Let us go to the house of the Lord. Not just Jerusalem, that's the temple. And where's the house of the Lord? Where's the temple located? Jerusalem. There we go. Why is it decreed? There, the thrones of judgment were set up, the thrones of the house of David. Okay, so your leadership is there. God's appointed king is there. So that's why you would go there. For the sake of my relatives and friends, I will say, peace be within you. I believe the you is Jerusalem. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your good. I believe that's Jerusalem. So the whole thing's about Jerusalem. I mean, peace be with you, Jerusalem, because my family, my relatives. I will seek your good, Jerusalem, for the sake of the temple. My people are there, my temple is there, my God is there. Jerusalem, important place, it seems. Okay. Now, let's look at the third one. Oh, right here. Whoever remains in Jerusalem. So over here, it's awesome. They're like, Jerusalem, yay, we have to go there. So what's God going to do back here? Going to cleanse it of the filth, and then the people that are left who are clean and or who are not filthy, going to be protected by God. Let's see if this one, open link in new tab, is about Jerusalem. It might be totally different. Let's see. When Jesus entered Capernaum, people say it different ways. I'm going to say Capernaum. When Jesus entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him, appealing to him and saying, Lord, my servant is lying at home paralyzed in terrible distress. And Jesus said to him, I will come cure him. A Roman centurion, not a Jew. Jesus says, hey, I'm only supposed to go to the house of Israel, right? Jesus says, I'm only supposed to be going to the Jewish people. Jesus, when he sent his disciples out, he said, don't go to the Gentiles, just the lost sheep of Israel. Eggnog does a body good. So that's what Jesus was supposed to do. He said, he said, I'm here for the Jews. And he said, I will draw all people to me. He said, I will send my disciples out to the whole world once I am raised up. But his on the earth, his mission seemed to be, hey, Jerusalem, come on, wake up. Israel, wake up. And he did get some of them to wake up, 12 of them. Then one of them deserted him. Judas kind of messed up. There were some women. He had some disciples. He had 12 apostles, one who left, and some disciples and some people, So he had some people in Jerusalem, a remnant remains in Jerusalem. We call it holy. Maybe. Okay. Jesus is not supposed to be going to the Jews, but he's going to a centurion to help heal him. Jesus doesn't say, I've only come to the house of Israel, but I would no, he just says, I will come to cure him. The centurion answered, Lord, I know. I get okay. Sorry. Watch this. Okay, I'm excited. Okay. Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. The centurion calls him Lord, calls him master. He says, hey, wait, don't come under my roof. I'm not worthy. Only speak the word, and my servant will be healed. So how can the guy say all that? No, Lord, I'm not worthy. You're my master. I'm not worthy of you. Just speak the word, and I know it'll be healed. Okay, now here's my justification for saying this. Let me explain myself. I also am a man under authority with soldiers under me. And I say to this one, go, and he goes. And Jesus can say the word, go, and the sickness will go. And to another, come, and he comes. Why? The man has soldiers under his authority. They are under his authority. The man can say, come here, and they'll come. And to my slave, do this, and the slave does it. Lord, I understand how this authority thing works. I have authority. I can tell cute. I'm under authority. You got to do what they say. I have people under my authority. When I say it, they have to do it. God, Lord, you can speak the word. My servant will be healed, i.e., the sickness is under your authority. That's pretty cool. The centurion is recognizing the authority of Jesus. Excuse me. When Jesus heard him, he was amazed and said to those who followed him, he was amazed. That's pretty cool. He said to those who followed him, that doesn't necessarily mean the disciples and the apostles, 12, and the disciples, a bunch more, including the apostles. He had a bunch of disciples, 12 of whom he named apostles. There we go. Yeah. Those who followed him, just the crowds, I think, Truly, I tell you, in no one in Israel have I found such faith. No one in Israel, Jesus sent just the lost tribes of Israel. In no one in Israel has he found such faith. Isn't that crazy? This centurion, who's a Roman, he is not found. He found more faith in this Roman centurion than anyone in Israel. A Roman who has more faith than all the Jews Jesus has met. I tell you, many will come from east and west. In other words, here's Judah and Jerusalem. People are going to come from the eastern portions and the western portions of Judah. No. Here's Judah and Jerusalem. People are going to come from The east really far away and the west really far away. People are going to come from far away and go. If we looked at real quick, Matthew 8:15, I'm going to type in centurion heal servant. Let's see what happens. So, okay, Matthew 8:8. Centurion replied, Lord, I do not deserve to have you come into my roof. Okay. Luke. Oh, hey, there's one in Luke. Let's see, full chapter. I think there's one in Mark too, but let's look. The faith of the centurion. Jesus entered Capernaum or Capernaum. Okay. He was not far. Come, go, and he goes. For I myself a man under authority. So you can see this is the same story. All right. When Jesus saw this, he was amazed. Turned to the crowd, he said, I tell you, I've not found such great faith even in Israel. Okay, so he doesn't keep going. Believe this is in Matthew 2. I mean, Mark. Also, I believe this is also in Mark, but I could be. Matthew. No, just Matthew and Luke, I guess. Sorry, guys. The east and west, in other words, all sorts of Gentiles, will eat with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. So it's not just going to be Jews eating with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Who is Jacob? Jacob's name was changed to Israel, right? Survivors of Israel, the nation. Jacob had 12 kids. 12 kids who turned into the tribes of the Lord. The tribes, which are named after Jacob's 12 sons, 10 sons plus 2 grandsons. Yeah. Because Joseph doesn't get his own tribe. Instead, Joseph's 2 sons get made into tribes. Joseph's 10 sons plus 2 grandsons turn into the tribes. Jacob's 10 sons plus 12. So whenever it says, and no one in all of Israel have I found faith. Okay. He's not saying no one in Israel is going to come sit at the table. He's saying many will come even of east and west of the Gentiles and will eat with Israel in the kingdom of heaven. Is the kingdom of heaven Jerusalem, a city with a temple? We're told in the New Testament there's a heavenly city and a heavenly temple, right? Yeah. This is the inclusion of the Gentiles. Oh, hey, real quick. To the centurion, Jesus said, Go, let it be done for you according to your faith. And the servant was healed in that hour. There's another passage I'm thinking where it says, like, many Gentiles will come and eat in the, but many of the servants of the king, i.e., Israel, will be kicked out. In other words, it's not about if you're a Jew or not. In the Old Testament, it very much was. But God even included Gentiles then. If you wanted to come move to Jerusalem and become a Jew, you could. If you wanted to live as a Gentile in Jerusalem, you could. You could do all that. You could have the blessings of the covenant of the Old Testament. You know, you if you're Israel, you do the right thing. If you're not Israel, you bless them and you do good to them. So if you're a stranger living in Israel, do the right thing. I mean, essentially, you're under the blessing. It's pretty cool. That is so cool. I could be a stranger living in Jerusalem, and if I love my neighbor, if I didn't go bring in idol worship, I didn't go working on the Sabbath, because although I'm not in Jerusalem, I'm not gonna work on the Sabbath and cause them to stumble. I could be a stranger and just be a decent human and follow the laws that God gave for all mankind. Don't be stealing, don't be committing adultery, you know. And I would be a foreigner living in Israel, Jerusalem, that's saved, essentially. The covenant, I'd be under the covenant blessings where God says you'll get all this good stuff and none of the bad stuff will happen to you. That's in like Leviticus and Deuteronomy. They throw out these blessings and these cursings that if you do good, blessings. If you do bad, cursings. Yeah. The filth. What's it say? The filth of the daughters. The Lord has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion. It's gotten rid of the badness and the bad people, kept the good people. They tended to think bad people meant Gentiles and Jews who did stupid stuff. Good people meant Jews who did good stuff or just followed other rules. Seems Jesus is saying, hey, where's it at? I tell you, no Israel, I tell you, many will come from east and west and will eat with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. Jerusalem, the tribes go up. Who goes up? The Jews. Also, people from the east and the west. If they have faith, I bet, I bet that's what this is getting at. It sounds pretty good to me. Sounds pretty good to me. Some people are going to vehemently disagree because they look at the rest of the Bible and they see theology that tells them otherwise. Okay. I'm trying to look at these three passages and put them together. Okay. I'm trying to put the themes of the Bible together. The East and the West, the kingdom of God, the temple in Jerusalem in the Old Testament, faith, the remnant. I'm trying to put all this stuff together, come up with the coherent picture. Okay, I think that's pretty good reading. That's pretty good. I'll pray real quick and we'll go ahead and go. Lord God, thank you for just being good to us. And if we do make mistakes in the way we're reading the Bible, I thank you. I trust, Lord. I trust that you will, and I thank you that you will honor the um the searching of knowledge, the seeking of wisdom, the fact that I'm not lazy and I want to learn, that I love all people. I mean, I love Jews and I love Gentiles, and I want all of them to be saved. Let me take the good of what I've learned and reject the bad of what I've learned and taught. For inevitably, Lord, I will get things wrong, but you love me anyway. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Okay, guys. One last drink of the old noggin nog. And we will see you on the next. Sorry. We will see you on the next very basic Bible.